What is going on YouTube? Hannah back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as XRP to US dollar. We're also going to be looking at DueDEX as well as the current coin market cap. In today's video specifically, I want to talk about not only the S&P 500, but a lot of the cryptocurrencies, as well as the constant sideways movement that the markets have been trading in. Yesterday's video, I did mention just really quickly that this could be it as the cryptocurrencies start to hit a higher resistance, and there's a fairly high chance we may start to correct lower as we hit these moving averages and hit these top resistance levels. As you can clearly see, yesterday we actually fell all the way down to about where we started from yesterday, which was close to $9,100 on Bitcoin, and some of the other cryptocurrencies are also starting to correct downwards as they are hitting some sort of resistance slash downtrends. Otherwise, guys, if you are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up. Remember to follow me on Twitter at CryptoVOfficial. This way, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can head over there to DM me, message me, talk about crypto, stock market, the channel, whatever it is. Otherwise, let's jump into today's episode. Alright guys, so like I said, yesterday's video I did talk about did we hit the top for XRP. This was specifically referring to the XRP trend for XRP hitting its resistance, hitting its moving averages here. You can clearly see that we did get intertwined within this moving average and we were starting to get rejected from the top resistance, and you can see currently that we are starting to pull back down even lower and see that dip in price. Now ultimately we are getting flatlined now within the moving average, so this does ultimately lead us to believe there is possibilities for the price of XRP to move higher now that we've gotten almost above the moving average and we are slowly lowering ourselves on the RSI. So it gives us plenty of opportunity to see some other dips and some other pulls in the market. You can see the current coin market cap is starting to stagnate once again. Everything out of the top 10 cryptos is pretty much just flatlined out, like literally just flatlined out for the most part. So there's really not much movement or anything to pay attention to specifically. But I do want to start with the S&P 500 just to switch things up really quickly. I'm extremely, amazed as to how we are continuing to pump higher and higher and higher within the S&P 500. Now, this is one of the first charts that we use where we're actually looking at the charts on a monthly time frame. You can see right here, this is the monthly time frame, and we're looking at a chart that dates back almost to 2009, which is about 11 years of history right here. And with that comes a clear dictation of what exactly is happening within the price, clearly setting up boundaries at its top resistance and bottom support. You can see its support clearly shows key levels of, investment points, and we have key resistances of, correction points. And you can see currently as the price is slowly moving up, this is August, September, October, November. We have till November, which could be literally right here. This is this area where this line is. This is November. So we could very easily retest this top resistance as we gain, confidence and move towards the election. And then, who knows what happens. All I know is if we hit this top resistance at any point, there is a very, very, very high chance we are going to see the market correct and we are going to see the prices swing lower. And that is not necessarily a good thing. So what we need to do is, consider that based on prior history, every single time the top white band was retested, a correction dipped. And knowing that I want to keep my portfolios alive on my Roth IRA and things like that, if we do decide to hit this top resistance again, which there will most definitely be, I will be selling out my positions, keeping it within the Roth IRA and buying back in at a lower price. Hopefully, you guys leave some feedback as to what you think about this opportunity and plan, but it is something to consider as we move on. It's something to distract ourselves when the markets are slow. It's consider other investment opportunities, other ways to make money, and other ways to create cash flow as other, sources of income fall stagnant. You want to have at least 3 ways of income coming in and bringing revenue to you. This way, if one falls stagnant, like Litecoin or Bitcoin is, we do have other cryptos or other markets or other ways of investing that can, produce profit by itself to kind of pick up the slack for the other one that's falling. Otherwise, moving on to the other cryptos, you can see my worry, and I'm hoping you guys understand this too. I mean, we're hitting 50 453 on the RSI, but the main thing that's really the key takeaway is the fact that we are starting to hit these moving averages. We're starting to hit these resistances. This is like a worry to me. I mean, hopefully you guys see it that way too, but when we're hitting a downtrend and the moving averages, it does show signs of resistance, and it does show signs and reasons for correction. Now, when you look at the moving average on the weekly, you can hopefully see what it is that I mean. I mean, you don't have to be some sort of professional trader to really notice what exactly is going on. This is a symmetrical triangle on most of these cryptos, you know, symmetrical triangle crypto. You can see that there are actually patterns, and this does often form within the market. You can see very easily right here, this is a very obvious symmetrical triangle where its bottom support and top resistance meets, and then people predict a bullish run to the upside. You can see the symmetrical triangle is right here where we hit the top, fall lower, and it's very similar to what's happening within Litecoin where we hit the top, fall lower, and then consolidate it into that pattern. It's very, very, very similar to what we're seeing here, and these patterns are most commonly drawn on movements like this. Even, you know, symmetrical right here, we moved up into it. This movement into the top resistance is exactly what Litecoin did. It moved up into the top resistance. These are very, 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 you know, strong key indicators that there's a very high chance we could be moving up to some pretty bullish levels in the near future if we do decide to break bullish. I mean, you can see very clearly long term we may be looking good. I mean, this is getting primed for what could be a very massive big breakout, easily up to 126, 175. You know, it really just depends on how this market wants to move. And on the other side, we could be getting ready for a short, because as Litecoin looks so primed and ready for what could be a very bullish movement, which is definitely possible, as these coins could be, you know, they could become apart and not as in sync as some of the other cryptos used to be. But this looks like it's getting primed for what could be an undervalued push to the upside, which is a fairly bullish thing. The reason I have a bearish concern is when I extend out. This is only the short term, not the long term like I was just talking about. Short term, we're hitting moving average, we're hitting resistance, good chance it's going to flop. Bitcoin specifically, as you guys can clearly see, the reason why I believe we're more than likely going to see a correction to the downside is due to the fact that there is also a big symmetrical triangle forming on this coin. But you can see it has a tendency to be breaking down more than it wants to be breaking up. You can see that there's some sort of pattern forming with this cryptocurrency that leads it to want to correct lower. Not only that, but since the time that it started all the way back in 2017, this resistance has been a clear indicator of a downwards force constantly putting pressure on this top. And you can see once again the same exact pattern is happening. And if I was a betting man, every time we hit this top resistance, we did something very, very, very similar. And there's a good expectation as to what could potentially come for what's happening now. You know, I don't really have to say it, but if you look at prior knowledge and prior history, you can see the pattern that happens every time we hit this top end. And the fact that we're hitting it now and we haven't seen the drop immediately is a little interesting. I'll give you that. But specifically on the topic of Bitcoin, the fact that we've hit resistance numerous times, we are clearly getting rejected here. The price is clearly lowering itself from a top of 10,004. The next candle was closer to about 10,000. The next candle was 96, 98. Now we're at 92. 94. We're in a downwards direction. There's a little over a day left, a day and 13 hours for this candle to really decide which way it wants to go. And as I've been saying in the past couple of videos, if it broke above this resistance and the candle closed above here, I'd be bullish. But the fact is, in a day and 13 hours, it's probably going to close in the same direction it started, which is right here, or if not lower. And it will once again prove that we are still in a bearish movement. After 3 months of bull run, we're going to start to see some consolidation down. And if I was a betting man, I would say we'd fall to about $7,800 on the moving average, down to a, you know, moving middle average median level. This is the median for the price, and there's a good chance we're a little bit overbought and we need to, or a little bit overextended and we need to come back down to here. So if I was a betting man, I'd be shorting the crap out of this. Very easily to do on DueDEX right here. Check out the link in the description if you guys are interested. Sign up for DueDEX as well as my Patreon. That pretty much sums up everything we're talking about. You can see the resistance on Ethereum as well. Otherwise, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter, CryptoVofficial, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.